Okay, aside from the fact that I would prefer to do it with donkeys, and he rather sneers that whole idea, much of my policy here on the farm uh, comes from things I've learned from uh, a farmer named Mark Shepard, and he has written a book called Regenerative Agriculture and or Restoration Agriculture, I think. I don't know for sure. Um, anyway, he mentions in his book a book written in Australia some years ago called Water for Every Farm. It was written by a fellow named P.A. Yeomans. And as viewers probably know, Australia is much more arid than Missouri. Okay, this is, here's our slope. Here's our slope again. This is the slope that I was showing you pictures of from up there. There's the Bob Kitty. It's sleeping now. This here, don't know how well you can even see it, but yeah, you can see a little of it right there, okay, and on up there. That's a shallow ditch. Okay, these swales are supposed to follow the essentially the contour lines of the land. The swales are supposed to be level across a slope that is not level. And the purpose of them is to catch water. There's a crop plant. It's winter time. Oh, excuse me. It's winter time, so none of them look bloomy. But that right there, little guy wiggling right there, that's a male catkin on a hazelnut plant. So this is a hazelnut shrub, and I have a lot of hazelnuts out here. I have a lot of elderberries. I have a few other trees. I have a few chestnut trees. I planted a lot of chestnuts, but they haven't prospered. And a lot of the reason they haven't prospered is because this hill is, as you can see from what's under our feet, this hill is basically all red clay. All the topsoil off this hill was sent into the bottom by the early settler farmers who started here in about 1830. And so the objective of these ditches is to catch the rain as it comes down off the hill. You can see it's about 8 or 10 inches deep. And the objective of them is to catch the rain as it comes down off the hill, catch it particularly in the gullies. There's one right there. And then let it go horizontally across the hill and then soak in so that the water goes into the land. That's a creek down there. The water will eventually make it into the creek, but the way it is now, it just goes in there, 90 to nothing, and it's gone because we're way in the uplands. This little creek fills up in a hurry in a big storm, and then it drains away in a hurry, and it's back to being 3 inches deep or no water at all. So I dig these. I dug that one down there with a little tractor and a one bottom plow. That's one plow furrow. And it worked for those swales down there that I showed that you can barely see are 3 years old, or possibly 4. My wife died 2 years ago, this past Christmas, and it's almost March now. And I kind of quit working for a while as I recovered. But they didn't catch enough water to do the plants much good. So I have trees down there along the creek, just this side of the creek face woods, that are hip high, and I planted those at the same time that I planted for you. If I can get it here where you can see it. This one. Okay, and that's my knee. So it's not even knee high. So, and that's the lack of water. Plus, of course, it's poor soil. I mean, it is just red clay, and that down there has topsoil on it because that's where all the topsoil from up here went. Anyway, when I dig this, I lift the dirt out of the swale and I dump it on this side. And it looks worse than this when I start. I've already evened this out some. But the hardest part of this project is not digging the swale, but smoothing the dirt out where it was. And to give you an example of what's going on here, here's a swale that I dug several weeks ago. You can see that it's about the same as the one I just showed you. But I've already smoothed all the dirt out here from it. And you can see grass is already starting to come up through it in places. I did some more scraping up here yesterday because when you do this digging like that, the tracks of the machine tear up the ground, so you have to smooth it back up. But this was all big mounds of dirt like that. And I've smoothed it all away. And once this is done, then the next step, this is a mulberry tree, the next step is you're supposed to come through here at the low point, there for instance, just at the low point, and dig a slit in the ground so that this catches the water and then the slit enables it to run in deeper. And I've bought what's called a ripper tooth for another diesel tool I have. That too could be done by donkeys. Here's some more male blooms on my hazelnut. The reason those matter is because these hazelnuts may bear a little bit this year, and that will be their first year. But you can see that after it's smoothed out, it returns to grass. And this is just all voluntary return. I haven't even seeded this. I'm going to seed it, I think, with orchard grass this year. This one here's got a bunch of blooms on him. He's a good looking little plant. The female blooms aren't out yet. They come later in the year. The males hang out all winter. I don't know why. But this is the objective, is to wind up with a swale with good grass growing land above it, good grass growing land below it, and then rows of food bearing perennials on the downhill sides of the swales. The peoples who lived here before the Europeans got here, many of them made their primary staple from gathering hazelnuts on this land. These are Missouri native hazelnuts. This is all entirely, look at that one, look at all the blooms on that one. You see there's a good chance that one is going to provide some real nice issues. Looks like a pretty big cow over here. Those don't look like blue jacks. It could be. They're big. Anyway, this is the next step from what I'm doing now. This one here's got a lot of blooms on it too. That one over there is a mulberry. can see there's the hill up. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna set up a tripod, and I'm gonna start working that grass, or working those piles of dirt over there. And well, if that was a deer, he was a big sucker. Even counting all the rain, making it get bigger like this. I don't know that any cows have been down here. Anyway, I'll see that swale that I'm working on there. I haven't got it all dug. That will come over here this little bit of a ditch here will be see, there's another one. Will be it's just a little bitty thing. Planted all those from seed about 4 years ago. After I finish getting that soil evened out up there, then I'll come on over and dig more. It takes considerably more time and effort to smooth the soil out than it takes to dig it out of the soil and dump it over there. So it will be more trouble. See down there, I got the little diggers somewhat stuck. These things here, there's some trash. These things here are ponds that hold the, they're not ponds, they're just little, but that's what holds the water and feeds it into the swales. And Mark Shepard has a water book too. And I own it, but I haven't read it all. That's embarrassing to admit. That one there, that's a one of those blasted weedy pears. I'll have to kill that one. Before I start digging. You see these uneven places here. It's a little trickier than meets the eye to dig these evenly with a bucket like that. And so it's all somewhat more difficult than it looks. There's another gully comes down here, so we try to catch as much as we can here. That's a rose mallow there. It's a member of the hibiscus family. They have beautiful blooms there, native winter wildflower. Anyway, in a few minutes here, I'll set this up and let you start seeing the process from the outside, watching the bobcat move. And then after that, I'll set it up inside so you can see what it looks like from where I sit and how I do it. I'm not the best in the world at this. There's a lot of things I do that I just do the best I can because that's all I know. Alrighty, now since I took that earlier video, I did a little cleaning out of the parts of the soil that were not well enough organized. So I've got a little more dirt out here, especially right there in the middle where the big deep ditch is. I got a lot of dirt out there. What I'll do, the first thing I'll do is I'll take the vertical bucket and I'll scrape this dirt out, and then I'll work the bucket leveler and leveler and use it to spread this dirt over the surface of this soil. Even though this looks like a humongous amount of dirt, and is, when I get it spread over the surface of the soil here, it'll wind up only being an inch or two thick. You can see up there where I tore up the ground. The bobcat tends to tear up the ground with its steering processes, and I'll smooth that out too before I'm done. But I'm going to take a little bit of this with the tripod, and then I'm going to go back and get the camera and do something from inside like I told you. Okay. Alright, now if I wasn't trying to video, I'd have gone the whole way out there and dragged all of them down somewhat, like that one's dragged down somewhat. You can see that the ground's real rough here. When you turn the bobcat, especially when you turn it real sharp, it tears up the ground. So I'll have to smooth that out too. And you can see up there where it was smooth when I was first videoing, it's rough now, and I'll have to smooth that out. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start doing the smoothing part, dragging this out to where it's completely smooth out on the ground, and try to let you see some of that from this view. And then, like I said, I'm going to just do some of that, and then I'll come out here and I'll get the camera and I'll take it into the bobcat and I'll show you what I'm seeing. Now I want you to know I'm not a pro at this, okay? I just bought this thing this year. These are all things that I have wanted to do for years and have worked at the level I was able with the equipment I had. And I'm just showing you, I'm doing the best I can here, and I'm showing you how a guy who is making it up as he goes along would do it. And if you know better, why, then you know better, and please don't make fun of me. I'm doing the best I can. But I think this will get water captured. In fact, I know it will. I've seen these full of water already. And so that's the objective, is to water my plants. This is all about watering my plants. This is an attempt to work with nature, with rain, with climate change, with global heating, because now it used to rain, you know, an inch a week for a lot of the summer. Now that inch a week all comes in 3 days, and the rest of the summer is dry. So what we're doing here is we're trying to create a situation where humans can still feed themselves after these machines are no longer available. And the way you do that is with perennial foods. The way I will do that is with perennial foods. And so, anyway, that's what's going on here. And I'm just going to show you now how I will do the next few steps. And then I'll get in here and we'll do it the other way, like I said. Alrighty, so you see the back of the bucket. It's sharply angled, and so it picks up that dirt and drags it back. If you don't pick it up at the end, it leaves clumps like this at the tail. So that's an ongoing project. And anyway, you can see roughly how that works. So now I'm going to shut this off and I'm going to go inside. And it's going to be too noisy for me to talk. I'll come back afterwards and try to narrate what I'm doing when I can see it. But that's the start of it. Okay, I've got the phone turned down to where you see the teeth on the bucket. See them move up, down. The whole bucket comes up. The back you see there's the bucket. That all comes up. We turn the bucket down, and you see that. It's not easy to get this thing to where, come on, there you go. Okay, there's the teeth. There they hit the ground, but you can't see them. Hang on, let me get it to where you can. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to tell you once, when I put the bucket on the ground, ka-whump, that's completely down. First thing I do is I lift the back up just a little, which is the whole bucket. See that? A little more. And then I turn the front down just a little to give the teeth a little more bite than the back's gone. And that's the drag. Okay? And then we back up like this. That's a pile of dirt. Out there is a pile of dirt that was left over at the back of a pull, and I'm going to try to smooth that out. I'm going to go up over it. Bucket down. Front down. Back up. See, if the back's not up, at least a little bit, dirt can't get out from under it, so you wind up with this pile. So you see how clumpy that soil is out there. A lot of this dirt in this project is turf. You know, the top layer I'm digging out is turf, and the grass turf makes it not want to tear up very easy. So we go up here and we put the bucket down on it, and then we go forward, and that crunches it up. Pick the bucket up, crunch it up, and go back, and that's how we smooth it down. And it just takes a lot of trips, and I don't know of a way to do it much faster than this. Okay, so now we're going to go over here. Teeth down. Hard to explain. Okay, the teeth are on the ground. The back of the bucket's probably 4 inches off the ground. So then the teeth pull part of the pile, so they tear up the pile, and you can see how that's happening out there. There's the part we tore up out there. There's the part I didn't get. There's the part I didn't get. These handles here do the bucket. Bring the bucket up a little. Now if I pick this thing up where you can see it better, I'll put the teeth down at an angle about like that. And then I idea. You can see there the edge of the pile that we're working on. And we bring the bucket up, teeth down. Okay, you can see that. And then we set the bucket down, but not too hard. Sorry for the focus coming and going. I don't know how to make it. You can see it's backing up a lot of dirt there, but it's enough of it slipping out. So you want it to slip out. So let it slip out. Okay. So there's that. Got some curves here. Got that torn up like that, then the next step is to start to distribute it more smoothly. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up there, and we're going to up there at the front where it's still the tallest. That could stand a little motion. See the bucket's up, comes down like this. You got to be careful putting these buckets up in the air. These things will fall over on you. And but if the bucket's empty, it's not too inclined to. Okay, so I'm going to set it down. You can see the gap under the bucket there. I'm going to set it down a little closer to the ground. I'm going to raise it up. Process is how you get it to spread, you know. You want it spread over the surface of the ground. And now you can see out there what I've been doing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here and grab it with the whole bucket instead of just the teeth. Now I've taken the bucket right there, I don't know if you can even see it. Barely in front of the bobcat there is the edge of what we're working. And so I'm going to move back up there. The bucket's here now in front of me. Set the bucket down. Now you can see there that the bucket's up. Now this lays it down flat. Okay. The bottom of the bucket will not go below the bottom of the tracks. That's how it works. But the teeth will. So you can lower the teeth, and then I can bring watch the whole bucket come up just a little here. Just a little. Okay. And I got the objective is always to move some of the dirt and let some of it fall out as you go, and that's how it's smooth. You can see up there at the front that we've still got a ridge there where we didn't get that down, so I've still got to get up there. There's that ridge, right wherever it is. There, that's a ridge edge. And I've got to lower that down, drop the bucket, put the teeth down a little more, and kind of scrape it away. See, I didn't get it, so I'm going to go back up and make another move at it. Watch the teeth. See, I'm going to bring the teeth down like that. I'm going to set it down. Go a little bit forward. Set it down right there. Okay, that's on the dirt. I'll go down, forward a little bit, whoops, forward a little bit, flatten the bucket, raise it just a fudge. Just want the bucket up enough that as the dirt crumbles up, it falls out from under. You can see I left that clod there, kind of. Anyway, I'm going to back up here. There's another clod. Okay, there's the tripod. That's where I started video. And so I've worked this part here during this video, and you can see back here it's pretty much done, and up there it's still raised. This will be a long project, but I'm going to take a break and just work and not video, because the videoing eats a lot of time. So I'm going to take a break and just work, and I'll show you a little more after a bit. Well, I haven't got it all done yet. There's the old Bobcat. I've used about 3/4 of a tank of gas today. Diesel, obviously. And it's digging. I did some cleaning out in the swale, but it's still not that productive a day, but it's the best I could do. It's a lot of work to spread this dirt. Digging the swales is nothing, but that's the way it works. That's how it is today. Alright, this is the day after the video. Most of the video I didn't finish last night, but this is, you can see it's not perfect, of course, but all that dirt that was in those big piles is gone. We still have a few left in little piles like this one, but they'll disappear with the grass growth and the mowing. That's tracks when the bench wagon, the Bobcat turned it around. So what happened is the wind got so blasting so hard into my phone that I couldn't continue to record, or I did continue to record, and you couldn't stand to listen to it if I let it play. I know I often do that with a lot of wind, and I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm just walking this. I've finished for the day. What we're looking at here is that all the dirt that was big piles when we started this video yesterday or an hour ago, depending on how you view it, are pretty much gone. They're smoothed out, and grass will grow up through them, and I will also seed grass on them, and a million different kinds of other local plants will grow up through them, and then I will manage that with mowing. That's the old swale I'm pointing at there. I still haven't dug this whole swale. The whole part that I've shown you is just barely over 1/3 of a swale. As I record this several days later, I have dug it all, and I've smoothed out the soil on about half of it, and I still have more to do. But I'm not working on it today. So anyway, what we're doing now is we're walking the path that the swale will take. This swale here is about 8 inches wide, and the swale that I'm making is about 40 inches wide. That's the one above us uphill. There's 3 of these parallel, roughly parallel, since the hillsides aren't perfectly parallel, neither are the swales. But there's 3 of them on this particular hill face. And here we're walking down to where this one will end, and then when I dug it out a little farther than this one went. Stakes laying on the ground, that's just from the winter. Deer come along and they try to clean their antlers on my stakes and knock them down. So I go around now before the grass gets tall with the donkey team, and more stakes and a hammer, and every place where the plants are still alive I drive a stake in. The reason for the stakes is so I can mow around these plants, because these little bitty plants will get lost out in the grass and completely choked out unless I mow around them. Now, there may be other people who know how to manage some other ways, but I'm not one of them. So here's the end of where the old swale was, and right there where the camera's focused now, there's kind of a little draw, and I'm not capturing the water that comes off that little draw. So the new swale, I dug long enough to capture that water. And all of what we're walking now is as of today is dug, and about half or maybe more than half of it is still piles, completely unaddressed piles of dirt. None of it's fully smoothed out. I got about half of it subjected to the first round of breaking out and dragging with the bucket teeth. Ran out of daylight. That little tool down there that you see, that turquoise tool, that's a little tiny Chinese mini excavator that I also use sometimes. And goodbye.